Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and for the last week I've been driving the 2025 Lexus LS500 F Sport. Up front is a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6, and down below is a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be making this video here today because I've spent the last week loving the LS500, as well as the fact that Lexus is killing off the LS500 for the next model year and figuring out what's what. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 under the hood. Well, if there's ever a plastic shortage, you can blame the LS500. There is a lot of plastic in that engine bay. However, I don't really mind. I'm not really looking at the pretty motor in cars like this. It's fantastic. It offers a very good amount of power. It's not quite how the old V8 feels, although this makes a lot more power than the old V8s. There's a little bit less sort of nonchalantness about this engine because it has that 10-speed. It's downshifting quite a bit. It's working a little bit harder than a V8 would have to work, but the power is certainly there, and it's a wonderfully smooth driving experience. Like I said, paired to it is a 10-speed automatic transmission. Does the job, works well, love it. And last but not least, the LS500 is all-wheel drive, which is fantastic for weather like this. How does it feel to drive the LS500? It's so incredibly smooth. It is such a smooth and luxurious driving experience that it is one of those cars that you get into and it's noticeable how much better the ride quality is. Having reviewed 370 cars last year, ride quality kind of becomes rather numbing. Most cars ride somewhat the same. The LS is a step above. It's a head and shoulders above the competition, and you notice that. Bumps are less harsh. Inputs are less direct and jerky. It's just a high-class luxury experience. Visibility's decent. You know, I prefer sedan visibility over SUV visibility, and I like it. I like it a lot. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster that you can modify and change and swap around. I like it. It's pretty easy to read. It's a lot less convoluted than the older style digital gauges, so I like that quite a bit. Moving on to the steering wheel, off to the left, we do have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen, as well as our volume and voice commands. And off to the right, we have our adaptive cruise and skip track. Now, we do have paddle shifters around the back of the steering wheel, as well as an F Sport badge down at the bottom. And we'll talk about my thoughts on F Sport a little bit later on, but you start to notice it here on the steering wheel. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent. We have our head-up display options, a little cubby, which is very nice for like a parking pass or something. And down below, we have our gas cap release and trunk release. Moving on to the door, we have 3 levels of memory seats, as well as a button to adjust the passenger seat. We have our latch to get in and out, power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, first of all, we do get an analog clock. Absolutely love seeing this in vehicles. Very, very nice luxury touch, but then we get our infotainment system. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is very, very nice. And the overall system is the standard Toyota system, so whether you drive a Corolla, Camry, Lexus ES, RX, whatever, it's all the same system, and it works well enough. And we do get a backup camera, however, we do not get a 360 camera. And at $95,000, I really would have liked to have seen a backup camera. I think it would have been very helpful in a vehicle like this. However, to help out, when you do put it into reverse, the rear sunshade does come down, as well as the mirrors will bow out a little bit to give you a little bit better visibility. So the car helps you where it can, but I just feel like for 95 grand, they could have thrown in 3 more cameras and added a 360. Down below, we do have 2 climate control vents with a hazard switch. We have our climate control buttons, dual zone climate. We have our power and volume and tune knob, seek track buttons, radio, media, start stop button, all of that together. I think it's presented really, really well. I think it looks good and no major complaints. And down below we have our auto holding brake button, our seat adjustment button, as well as 2 USB-Cs and our Mark Levinson sound system. Then we get the shifter in the center. Nothing too crazy, pretty modern style shifter here. And down below, we have 6 buttons for our heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, as well as the rear sunshade operation. The heated steering wheel, if you do turn it on to level 2, it will nearly burn your hands. So it is a very well operating system. Off to the right, however, we do have openable cup holders with a 12-volt outlet, but we will do a big friggin' bottle test. I don't think any LS has passed, so the 2025 LS500 is in the same boat. Then we do get a center console that has a wireless charger as well as USB-Cs for charging. And then we have the seats. The seats are nice and comfortable. Now this is missing the massage setting of the higher trim level LS vehicles, so unfortunately no massage seats, but heated and ventilated, power and memory, anything else you would really want or need. And we do have F-Sport embossed in the headrest. So again, another F-Sport touch found here in the interior. However, speaking of the interior, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, getting in the back of the LS500 F Sport. And once we are back here, plenty of things to love. First of all, we do have our own climate control vents. We also do get a 12-volt outlet down below. We get these nice seats with good inserts. We can pull this down. We get our rear sunshade, which the vehicle is off, but the rear sunshade, as well as you can move the front seat forward and back just off of this button. Very cool to see that. We have some added storage in there as well. Come up here, we do get vanity mirrors. Absolutely love to see this. The original LS had these as well, so cool to see these carried on over 30 years later. We get more Mark Levinson speakers in the roof, and we get our own sunroof. So this is an independent sunroof. They can open and close that at their will. I can open and close this at my will, and that is very nice to see. You don't often see vehicles with dual sunroofs, but the LS500 has it. Again, knee room is fantastic. You even get some storage down here, but my knees are not even coming close. Head isn't even close to the ceiling as well. Very nice in the back here of the LS500. I apologize, I have my coat on. It's very cold today, as you could probably tell from the exterior footage. But let's hop into the very back and take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space. All right, around the back of the LS500, and hands down, one of my favorite features is the fact that you can press and hold on the key fob, and it does have a power-operated trunk. I've seen power-operated tailgates. Lots of cars get that. But power-operated trunks is just that level of, like, you don't really need it, but it is very nice to have. Now, what is not nice to have, as you'll see, there are chunks of ice and snow. This rear window was covered in snow. I opened the trunk to get my stuff in, and then I was going to clear the car off. The entire sheet of snow, because this lip isn't a whole lot, went right into my trunk and absolutely soaked my sweatshirt, so it's not been a very good day. But besides that, plenty of trunk space. I love the fact that it does have the power-operated trunk. You're going to be able to fit a lot of things in here. This is the full-size Lexus sedan. The luxury sedan is technically what LS stands for, so you definitely get a luxury sedan trunk experience. You do have some warnings about the power trunk, but you can pull down here, I guess if the mechanism is broken, but you do get a button. Love to see that from Lexus, and it's just a nice feature to have. Like I said, not every sedan needs this. Sedans don't even really need this. Trunks are usually pretty light to open, but it's just like one of those cool things. It's like having an elevator in your house. Like, why not? Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I do like how subtle the LS500 is. Now, the F-Sport is a little bit more aggressive, and it does look a little bit more hip, a little bit more in tune with style. However, again, nothing too crazy. I've always liked how understated Lexus products are. That's kind of one of their biggest strengths, is that they're not super flashy. So I like that the LS500 follows in those footsteps. You might mistake this for an ES or maybe even an IS at a glance. So I kind of like that. However, if you are paying 95 grand, I would like to be a little bit more showboaty, but that's okay. You will also notice that this does have 6-piston front brakes for the F-Sport package, and some accenting again that makes it look a little bit sportier. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the LS500 for the last week? Well, I truly enjoyed this experience. I've always loved the LS. Whether it be a first, second, third, fourth, or fifth gen LS, they're all very nice to drive. And when I got into this, I knew that I was going to have a nice, comfortable week. The only downside I've really had about this car is the F-Sport package. I like it. I mean, I think the F-Sport package is cool, but I just don't really see a point to it on a vehicle like this. I would much rather have more luxury options than have sporty options. I don't think anyone is driving this in a sport kind of way. I don't need F-Sport embossed in my headrest. I don't need big brakes for a vehicle that already stopped on its own pretty well. I'm not taking this to the track. I'm not carving up a canyon in an LS500. That's more what the IS is for. The IS500 with the V8 was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely. That should get F-Sport accommodations. But this, I don't know, this just felt silly to have paddle shifters and F-Sport on the steering wheel in a car that really should be about luxury is kind of like wearing Crocs in a relay race. It's not right. It doesn't make sense, and I don't know who would want that. So that's really my only big miss. However, it doesn't matter what I think about this car. I could write Lexus a strongly worded email and tell them a million things that they should fix or change. But at the end of the day, LS is discontinued after the 2026 model year. They're going to do a commemorative version for 2026, and then they're going to turn the lights off. Now, I already did a video saying goodbye to the LS500, and I talked about reasons why it is. But no matter what the reason or how much I love it, it's not going to change the fact that this car is going away. And we are truly going to miss one of the best luxury sedans to ever be available on the market. The LS is very good, and it's a rotten shame that it's being taken from us. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Lexus for letting me borrow their LS500 for the last 7 days. Huge thank you to Drive Shop for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwest Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.